Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us for the marketing mix here at xMonthly. We're blessed to have Sam Bush here today. Very excited to have some
Yeah.
commentary. Sam, so nice to have you here.
Yeah.
Uh, would love to hear a little bit. We wanted you to join this meeting today to kind of share some insights. I've learned a lot about you and your organization and who you work with and all those opportunities.
Yeah.
And essentially, I think it's been interesting kind of watching you grow. And we both work with John Rivers a fair bit. I've seen some
Yep.
you in the news lately. Love to have you on here today and just share a little bit more about, what you do and why we're excited to have you here.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah, for sure. So first off, thanks for having me. Always love chit-chatting in the channel with friends. So appreciate the time. So a little bit about me. So I come from about a 15-year marketing career. Started my career really in a funny way, actually. Did not I never took a marketing class at all, still haven't to this day. So I come by it through trial and error and a lot of great mentors and teachers along the way. But I've been in channel roles for about 9 years, whether that is in demand generation or partner marketing or content strategy. I've really made my kind of name and focus really in those areas. So, had the privilege of kind of inventing my own thing about a year ago. Um, was in a job that really I loved, but I feel like I wasn't doing everything that I wanted. And then I realized most jobs aren't going to give you every single thing that you like to do. That's just not how a lot of them work, right? So I wanted a space where I could talk to marketers, engage in some like controversial topics in marketing, and expand my own horizons, but also help other people start to think differently as well. So I started Ambush on Air, which is my lovely podcast, and also started a consulting business. So I work full time at a company called Netstock. We are inventory and supply chain planning tool. It is amazing, fabulous, wonderful. I get to do what I love every day at work. But with the podcast, I actually have a consulting arm as well. So a couple clients on the consulting front that I help with on really breaking the mold of the basic marketing stuff, right?
yeah. No, it's cool. I mean, I think it's good having voices out there, sharing, collaboration.
Yep.
You know, we're starting here at X Monthly, trying to pull in a lot of the players again and just try to create that ecosystem, that foster
Exactly.
helping each other. So, really quickly, I just wanted to share a couple updates on today's agenda.
Hmm.
We're going to be covering a number of items. Here at X Monthly, we we look at things in time, right? And we really try to do our best in trying to help keep a consistent pattern with our partners and our clients and some of the different pieces that we pull together. So, today we're on the first working Monday. We're doing the marketing mix, and I'm excited to, share the stage with people like you. I think next month we're going to be live at Directions, because we're consistent. We want to make sure that people are engaged. The following month, I believe we're going to have Anya on here talking about content collaboration. With you, we do a lot of video, right? We have a lot of meetings, we have sessions. So this is kind of what we're doing, and we're sharing that as well.
Yeah.
Um, we do this thing on the second Tuesday of each month, secret agent briefings. I think we had Shannon coming in doing a BC segment. We had Michael Wall in January doing generative AI stuff. I
Yeah.
did a licensing one just because, X Monthly is getting started. And
Yeah.
then we push this conversation with cloud and Microsoft CSP briefings. That's an awesome offering.
Yeah.
Now, today's a marketing call. You
True that.
know, what I like about marketing is, there's just a tremendous amount of things that we do. And, from our side, I wanted to point out some new things that we've done. I want to see how, your podcast, your Ambush on Air, seeing how people can engage with that.
Mhm.
One thing that we're excited about with video production, today we released xMonthly Studios. You're like, what's this? Oh my goodness. Um, sorry, I was getting ready to post about this one last time. Um, xMonthly Studios, we talked about subscriptions and helping marketers get engaged with video content. I love podcasts, right?
Yep,
I listen to them all the time.
constantly.
So you're meeting your people where they are,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah, yeah. I was just actually having this chat with a couple people on the channel team here at Netstock this morning, which is like we were going through and we're like, why do we email all of our partners all the time? Like, we're just sending them these boring emails that are just text and wondering why, no one's replying. And I'm like, because we're not, they don't want email from us anymore. They aren't on email to just chit chat with their friends like us, which is what partnerships really are, is friendships, right? Friends doing business with friends.
Yeah.
But what other ways can you actually say the same information in a way or a place where they actually hear it from you, right? So it's about, where do the videos live? Where do the long scripted text live? None of that's the same as it was a year ago. None of that's the same as it was 3 months ago for people, right? So making sure you really know where your audience is. And for me personally, they are on, like, constantly on LinkedIn. So that's where I'm posting most of my content. And then for my podcast, I share that not only in my podcast, but also on YouTube because a lot of my subscribers are YouTube users. And then I also am posting that on like sometimes on Instagram because I do have some marketing followers there. It just really depends on the kind of mix of where I put things. So,
Yeah, I mean, it's a lot to get it out there and,
yeah.
people experiment, they try.
Yeah. My very first podcast is still the one that's listened to the most. And I think it's it's really telling because the content is just me talking and being my total self. Like, here's why I'm doing this, here's why I care about it. And then some of the ones that are the least listened to are the most polished. And I'm like, I spent so much time working to make that sound so good and like produced it and had a prep call and a meeting before. And we talked for 10 minutes before we recorded. And I'm like, those sucked. Like, because nobody wants to listen into something that is so prescriptive now. It's like a webinar. No one wants that basic stuff we used to do. They want the authentic, raw, real, right? They don't want this like buttoned up. Thank you so much for joining Ambush on Air. Like that's not me at all, right? I'm
I
like,
feel like I'm a victim here. No, I'm joking.
no, you're good. You're good. But I'm like definitely preaching it a little bit. But I'm like, there's such a mix of how you can do these kind of things. So I just love the education behind it. And like you said, like speaking to the channel and helping the channel and training the channel on ways to think like that.
Right?
Yeah.
With our side, and I think that's cool. And I have a couple of just presentation things, but
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
on here, with xMonthly Studios, you should be able to capture it. We just dropped it into the menu here. But last week we produced 24 videos.
So great.
You're like, what is this about? What could this possibly be? Well, we're trying to break it down. We're
Yeah.
offering a service. There's infomercials about the three things that we do. Our community event, right? Being out there in the community, Dynamics Con, directions, release waves, we're being engaged. We like to help people with subscribing.
Yeah.
You're one of our agents. I'm really
Yeah.
excited to help promote you there.
I appreciate it.
Because I think that, your ability, we're going to help help ability to offer services and highlight you and share more about these capabilities. We make money with licensing, right? So
Yep.
that's obvious. These on-demand marketing briefings, this is where you're gonna be able to grab that on-demand content, that deep learning situation. When you go deeper into the pages, you'll be able to like revisit the content. Go to market with us. We have ways
Yeah.
to help build pipelines, briefings, making your mark, onboarding, short videos. Again, all these things are like no more than 3 minutes, maybe like a minute and a half tops.
The best.
But so my challenge is I've always had a dyslexia, right? I try to compensate for that. I try to bring in talent to
Yeah.
overbring, and I feel like now it's starting to turn into one of my greatest strengths, or at least from an xMonthly perspective.
Yeah. How so?
Well, if you combine Gen AI today, right? Everyone's got Copilot chat, it's free,
Yep.
right? With the desire of not sounding like a robot, right? Like I need a human. I need
Yep.
brilliance on the other end. If I
Exactly.
were to edit the output of this Gen AI stuff, it would take me probably like a year or two to read it. Just with the speed. So,
Yeah.
I compensate for my weaknesses by bringing on amazing people.
Yep.
Ryan's listening to the call. I hope he feels good about this, but, you know, leveraging strengths. Are there any, I know that you said with your show,
Mhm.
your brand, you wanted to fill a gap,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
How's that like? I'm trying to pull it together, but
Yeah. 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 So for me, I have found I'm one of those marketers that the old like saying is you're called a T marketer. So you're done a lot of stuff across the board, but you have a specific focus. And my focus is revenue generation. Like how do we get money is my focus, right? Which not all marketers have that as their focus, and that's okay. Some of them are gonna have content writing is what they're best at, or they're gonna have like strategy or planning or something, right? Advertising. But for me, I've done where I was in agencies for so long, done so many things. And then I've been a marketer of one, I've managed a team of six, I've managed a team of one, right? I've had a lot of those experiences. And during that, I really realized I like to go deep on one thing, but I was missing the broad side of it as well, where like I've been a director of marketing before that with a team allows you to really do all of those things and be involved in the whole kind of nuts to bolts marketing scheme, right? You're
yeah,
you're listening to every aspect of the marketing department, what we're up to. But I find my biggest strength in my work is when I am hyper focused to one thing, and that is partner marketing, in its many ways, shapes, and forms. But in my mental need to always be learning, I was
right.
missing the conversation about content strategy and email marketing. And because I don't think about those things in my daily life now, right? I
Mhm.
think of them in a very different bucket, but I was missing the how do I explore marketing as a whole and have fun and learn and grow and talk about generational marketing, which is my favorite topic, right? But I don't do that for work, right?
Right.
I so how do I get to still do that stuff that I love when it's not in my daily job, right? And I love my
Right.
daily job, right? But I have I have ADHD and it's pretty bad sometimes. So I need an outlet to really explore the things that keep me up at night when it comes to marketing, which is so nerdy but so true.
Right. You
Yeah.
know, it's interesting, right? It's
Yeah.
we all have all these plans, all these things, and I
Yep.
think coming down to revenue is actually important,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
We've been launching for a minute, we've been pulling things together. with you, we're going to end up hosting your content on the site,
Yep.
amplify your voice.
Appreciate it.
There are pieces that, we're trying to pull together here, bringing the people together, and it's just like, all right,
Mhm.
well, Jeff, what have you been doing? What do you do?
Yeah.
Right? So we help enable partners deliver the full cloud experience, trying to leverage different agent services to help them achieve that.
Yep.
It's X, right? It's
Hmm.
it's the difference between that. Now, what's interesting, we offer all these types of crazy services. There's lots of things that we've been building. Our prototype is built. We're ready to kind of expand with partners on this. With our agent programs, we're getting back to revenue,
Hmm.
right? You know, we we know that subscription licenses are going to be coming through.
Yep.
We know that supporting our business and growing, there's things that we want to do. And in order to better serve our partners, we've released this program today. And thank you. I kind of reviewed this with you,
Yeah.
working on the positioning of it. But, we're helping with content, we're helping with video, we're helping with highlighting. We want to find partners X and promote that.
Hmm. Hmm.
So with that being said, everyone who attends these calls, you get a free agent profile. It's simple. It's zero across the board. You get to highlight yourself.
Yep.
In our services agents, or we also include referral agents, people like um, well, we had a few on here, but people are helping us launch and help get going. We're providing great benefits for those partners. But having done this before, we ran a site, a content partner site previously. We got up to, I think, like 20,000 web visitors a month with
Wild.
with 500 web conversions a month.
Which that's the craziest thing. Like it works. It works when you do it, right?
So I'll be frank, that took us 5 years to build that,
Sure.
but early people got in and there's some benefits there. So,
Exactly.
with this program, we want to help highlight, we want to help promote. We also need to keep this going. We're doing revenue, right?
Mhm.
March 31st, we're measuring Q1. That'll allow us to determine the next set of activities, right? So if people want to help support, jump on. We have an amazing program, and we're offering discounts for anyone who might close before, the end of March. Time sensitive. Have you leveraged time sensitivity with many of your offers, promotions?
We have in previous roles that I've had, yes. For me, I really don't in my consulting side of things. But I've seen it work when I was at Flowcast, we did it all the time when it came to like end of quarter, we're trying to close this much business and we've got these open pipeline opportunities. And we're like, if we can get them to sign by a certain day, they're going to get something, we're going to get something. Um, it definitely is a good call out.
Yeah. I mean, we're just getting started here.
Yeah.
I think people are, very helpful in here. We're rewarding partners who do get engaged, agents that do get engaged with significant discounts on many of the services that we do provide. There's ways for you to market. There's ways for you to better understand working with Microsoft and leveraging those resources. What I like about, you know, working with Ambush on Air, teaming up, you know, it's a small channel, right?
Yep.
I appreciate you kind of connecting with me at the Acumatica Summit.
Yeah. I know. I walked past you and I was like, wait a second. I know him. I was like, I've never seen him at this before though.
Right?
Yeah.
it's fun because you begin to start seeing cross solution.
Yeah.
I don't want to say it's like epiphany. Of course, there's lots of applications out there, but it's really
Mhm.
cool seeing many of those partners out there collaborating in other spaces as well.
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah. For us at Netstock, we are pretty agnostic. We've got connectors to like 40 different ERPs and then direct integrations with about 10. So we are at almost every publisher event that we can,
Yeah,
going pretty
it's
wide.
oh my gosh, I probably should have started with this, but
That's okay.
I
It's
think
me.
hey, it's you. So I know you're a big podcaster. Do you do many slides on your shows, or is it mostly just back and forth?
I never do slides actually. It's just purely me talking, both people or three people, four people on the screen. I actually, one thing that I do as well is I actually hate doing a prep call beforehand,
Okay.
unless people ask for it. Some people ask for it because they're nervous. I just prefer, so I will send you, we'll discuss a topic maybe over a cocktail at an event or in LinkedIn, and I'll message you here's the 5 things we're going to talk about. Do you have questions? Do you want to add to it? Do you have research you want to highlight? All that stuff. And then I go straight, let's record it.
I broke your mold.
I know, but everybody has a different mold. And one thing I've had to learn is some people that scares people sometimes. I've had a couple people be like, I really would like a prep call. And I'm like, okay, great. And what I find often is that prep call sometimes is just as good, sometimes better than the actual recording because you don't have the luxury of writing your answers, right?
Yeah.
So you're hearing what you actually want to say and think without over polishing yourself. And I think that's part of what I do best, but not everybody does that best. But I like the authenticity of that, where it's like today's topic, building personal brand. I put a couple of these things in here because that's what I end up talking about when I talk about how I built my brand. Um, that these will come up naturally when we talk, but normally I wouldn't write them down. And that's just me. That's me, right? And I like to have people a little bit like not not like scared, right? Like I don't want to get somebody on my podcast that's like nervous like that. But what I do want is someone to come in and be a little bit like unabashed, you know?
Yeah, it's interesting. I'll tell you what, a lot of the topics we covered in our pre-call weren't here, so
No,
it's
they
kind of
weren't.
funny.
They weren't. They were not. Because
So,
I was like, let me just write these out instead.
no, I think it's good. I mean, you've talked about many different aspects. Your personal brand, effective marketing campaigns
Yep.
was another topic that you help people with.
Yep.
Um, we're attempting to do this
Mhm.
because we know it takes a lot of work, right?
Yeah.
So, with our marketing stuff that we do, we've done a refresh on our invites for our next CSP briefing.
Nice.
So when a partner goes to our site and says, "Hey, invite client to our next session," you don't have to do all that work.
Love
We
it.
CC you to every message. So we're trying to
Mhm.
do effective marketing campaigns to help
Yep.
speed things up.
Yep.
Um, Let me see.
Speed and scale, that's definitely the name of the game now. The other thing that I love to talk about, if anybody's ever been to a speaking session of mine, you've heard this, but your audience and knowing them, we talked about this earlier, like being where your audience is at is one thing, but actually knowing your audience past like the revenue and company size stats. So I've worked in organizations where as soon as a lead comes in, if it doesn't fall within the company size and the revenue, they don't even really reply to the person who outreached, which could be crazy, right? Because they're like, well, we're not going to get enough value out of that deal if it's 2 people less than the company size we go for. Maybe their revenue isn't right that they're putting in. Maybe it's the person in supply chain who has no idea that their business revenue is actually 10 million. They just Googled it and it says 9 million, right? So Like some of that stuff's not always true, but knowing your audience is more than just that, right? It's more than just company size and revenue. It's where do they live? What is their generation and demographic? It is what do they value in a sales cycle? Did they do any steps before they filled out the form? And if so, what are those steps? Are they here for education more than they are here for a quick answer, right? So learning more about your audience can really help you um, actually drive effective results out of your marketing campaigns.
It's been a journey for sure.
It's a
Trying
journey.
trying to get that value prop, trying to be like, okay, how does this work? And just
Yeah.
being very laser focused.
Yep. Yep.
This
It's the
month,
hardest part.
yep. So, a little bit, it's trying to remain focused, I think, for those with the ADD bug with us. I think there's a way to do it. I
Yeah.
think we've cracked it a little bit.
Yeah.
Um, I hope I'm doing laser focus sessions right now, and
Yeah.
it's an operational type thing.
Yeah.
But let's see,
Have
working
you
with
ever,
agents. Go
okay,
ahead.
real quick, a funny thing. So when I was at Flowcast, where I was at prior to here, I was on a diversity and inclusion team that we called Access, which was for people with mental and physical disabilities. We like all kind of come together, work together, help each other, chat about, ways to overcome and all that fun stuff. But one thing that we did right as I was leaving, so I hope they still do it, it's something called body doubling, which sounds really creepy, but it's not. Basically, what you do is you schedule a Zoom, or you can do it in person if you're all local, which in this remote world, nobody's in an office that much anymore. At least I'm not. We don't even have offices. So you open up a Zoom or a Teams meeting, everybody comes on, and you just, for that hour or whatever's blocked, you take your to-do list and you actually focus just on that while other people are also doing the same. And you can see them. Sometimes we'll put music on. Sometimes we'll just like chit chat in the beginning. And then it like we'll go through during this time. I want to finish writing my abstract for this webinar that I've been really putting off. And you commit to that together. And then you all just go and you're sitting still on your Zoom and you're doing your own work. And at the end of it, you're like, I did it. I finished it.
I love it with collaboration,
Yeah.
right? One of the things that we're working on, I mean, it was really cool when Google Docs came out and you could like fill out these forms and you're working in Excel,
And
sorry,
everything you
sheets.
can see somebody typing when you're typing. It's the best.
So M365, I think, caught up, right?
Yep.
And now it's just an insanely powerful tool. And you're sitting there working on the same document, secured environment.
Yep.
Now you just hit the Copilot. There's actually just like a free download for it.
It's the best.
And then it's like, all right, well, what can this do within my own environment? And that's kind of the next step. It's like, wow, how does this all work? So with those recording, with those tools, those collaboration sessions, I preach the software,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
I have this Excel document that we call it the brain here, but it has the different pieces. And we're sitting there working, we're collaborating, and that's
Mhm.
just within Excel, M365.
Yep.
If you write something down, it's gonna happen.
Exactly. Especially when more than you have access to it, right? So there's like an accountability that comes with the collaboration in the same tool that I love.
So we use Flow when someone says become an agent, and then
Hmm.
all of a sudden we build out a Microsoft Teams collaboration space for partners and agents.
Yep.
We add our team to that, and that's a sales and marketing support person that's there
Yeah.
through trust. We're here to help support. So that's part of like why people want to get engaged because we connect dots. That's what we do.
Yep.
So, I'm really excited to have you on my quick buzz now.
Yeah.
Um, oh my gosh, that's kind of a wild thing.
Body doubling.
Body dub leg.
I'm a big fan. That and then another thing that works for me is it's on my other desk because I got two desks because this is my ambush desk and that's my netstock desk. But I have an what is it even called? It's like the hourglass, like you flip the timer and it's 15 minutes
Yeah,
with the rice in it or whatever. I have one of those and it saves my life some days because there are certain things in my job that I hate to do. Everyone knows this who's ever worked with me. I hate going into an Asana task and like actually working off the task. I will do the whole thing separately and then forget to check the task off. And that's me. That's who I am. I know it. But there, every single week, I have to remind myself that I need to spend 15 minutes every day going in Asana and marking off the stuff I've already done. But the only way I do it is I have that little hourglass and I flip it over and I go in Asana and it is like forced behavior. Because I'm like, if not, I don't do it. I don't do it. I had a boss once who literally every single time she talked to me, she's like, girl, get in a sauna. And I'm like, I hate it in there. It's not how my brain works. So you
it's
have to
fun.
find ways around working with your own brain.
It's funny. I have hourglass in my house. I should probably put it up there
Yeah.
behind me. It's like time froze still.
Yeah.
It stopped running. So we're just sitting
No.
there.
And you're like, wait a second. I thought this was only 15 minutes. Nothing's happened.
No, it's a cool one, but no, I actually love that idea.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah.
Uh,
Good time.
I might have to actually pull that. So we offer these sessions. We're helping. This is our standard cadence that we work with. Um, I know that we just reached the bottom of the hour. We do 45 minutes on these.
Mhm.
I appreciate people kind of jumping in and being part of X Monthly and sharing some insights.
Yeah.
If there's questions from the audience, I don't know if I didn't see anything come here,
I haven't either.
but I do appreciate people doing and coming to attending to the show.
Yeah.
Um, Let me see.
Same here. I want to shout out Rain and Anya, my fans, my friends, my besties. Thank you, ladies, for joining today.
We're going to be doing on-demand sessions here. We're
Yep,
thankful to have you join us on today's call. If someone, is funny, right? We worked together at the same organization at one point. Our paths have crossed.
exactly.
We never had an opportunity to necessarily work together.
I know, isn't that crazy? Now look at us.
Look at us. I just think it's really neat that, when I first started seeing your podcast on board and starting to get some traction,
Hmm.
right? I thought that was really neat.
Yeah.
Um,
It's fun how the community really is embracing it and embracing me. I think that's been a huge highlight and a big change in my life in the last like 3 to 5 years. Um, I think when I started in my marketing career, I was so worked and burnt out that I was like, I don't even know if I have fun doing this anymore. Like I'm like, is this what I want to do with my life for real? Because it's exhausting. And through the Microsoft channel specifically, I have found a new appreciation for being myself and education and learning and teaching and um, really becoming the marketer that I've always wanted to be. And this has given me a seat at the table that I didn't know was available for me to take, and it is. So it's been very, very cool for me.
I think it's just encouraging. You're getting
Yes.
out here, starting your podcast, getting out there.
Yeah.
Um, you know, there's I want to emphasize the point here. It's like it's fun that you're getting out there, being who you are. Oh gosh.
It's
I
fun.
hate the ADD. Ah,
I know. I know.
well,
Bing, 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 bing.
I should have wrote it down.
Normally, so I said I don't prepare. I usually, if I have things I have to remember, this is saves my life. This little whiteboard, it comes with me for every day of my job, and I like will write the most random things on it because if not, I will forget. But today,
Yeah.
she's got nothing on it, which is beautiful.
For people that may want to end up starting their own podcast, do you
Mhm.
just have any like
Yeah.
recommendations for them? It doesn't have to be like B2B marketing in the Microsoft Dynamics space, but
No, it
just
can
in
be
general.
anything. If you have an idea, just test it. Like go ahead and do it. It's so much easier than you think it is to do a podcast. You don't need the fancy stuff. The fancy stuff is nice. But you don't need it to be good at it. You just need some sort of tool that helps equalize your sound. Um, I've used a variety. I use Riverside currently, which is the preferred partner for Spotify, which I'm a big Spotify user. Um, so my advice is just go try it. And if you're too scared to do it by yourself, get a co-host. Or if you don't have enough time to commit to like mine's comes out twice a month. If you don't have time, have a co-host and they do one every month and you do one every month and maybe you do them together. Like think about ways you can multiply without spending double the time, right? Those are my couple little nuggets of advice.
Yeah, no, that's solid
Yeah.
piece there.
It is. I'm about to start a podcast with Netstock, with the Netstock team. So you guys will see that in the coming months as well that I'm pretty excited about. So
Awesome. Well,
mhm.
hey, Sam, I appreciate you joining on today's
Thank
call.
you.
I think taking the sound equalizer is something that we'll end up doing as
Yep.
well. Um, I think it's just really I like the courage.
Thank you. Thank you. It does take a certain amount of boldness to get out and talk about stuff, right? Uh, and if you don't have it, you can find it, right? You can find it in yourself. So
The last thing is this is it. This is the final hit home. Why I mentioned that we work together. Silos.
yes.
Today it's just a testament of just being able to break down silos and people connecting with the humans here, right?
Yes. Yes.
There's a lot of change that's happening. We're all trying to approach this together.
Hmm.
We know that Gen AI has already changed marketing.
Yep.
We know it's changing everything.
It's changing product, it's changing content, everything.
So, break down those silos, see how you can do that. I'm happy to help support in different ways. Our team's happy to help support in different ways. And again, thank you, Sam, so much I'm so happy that we crossed paths.
Same.
And, I can't wait to see you at, other events here coming up. I
Yeah,
think
I'll see you in a couple weeks. Hmm.
directions, right?
Yeah, about a month from right now. Directions is a big one. I am very, very excited for. Um, should be a great show in Viva Las Vegas. So
Yeah, one of the things, we're actually sponsoring it
good
or
for you.
exhibiting. So this is a graphic of what our panel B will look like. Very
Thank you.
excited.
Yeah,
Now,
very exciting.
I'm not the best person at graphic design, let's say. So
But you're getting out there and you're starting, and I think that's part of it too. Sometimes you
so
just gotta take the leap.
so we appreciate everyone for joining and watching on demand. Let us know how we can engage and thankful to have you here. You'll have a
Thank
great
you.
day. Thank you all.
Thanks,
Thank you,
guys.
Sam.
Thank
Bye.
you.